What you're about to hear is one of the biggest political reversals we've seen in years. Donald Trump is suddenly demanding the release of the Epstein files he spent months quietly blocking behind the scenes. And tonight, his entire strategy is starting to crack wide open. In a major shift, Trump posted online claiming he's always supported releasing the Epstein documents, saying Republicans have nothing to hide and should vote yes. But his new tone didn't appear out of nowhere. It only emerged after Republicans began breaking ranks and announcing publicly and loudly that they were voting to release the files with or without his approval. Trump insisted he already said this Friday night aboard Air Force One, but here's the actual footage from that night, and it paints a very different picture. When asked about releasing the Epstein files, Trump said, "I don't care, released or not. But Republicans who support it are weak and ineffective." That is not an endorsement. That is not a push for transparency. That is Trump signaling to his allies that they should shut this down. He even went so far as to bring members of Congress into the Situation Room to pressure them into withdrawing their names from the petition that would force the vote. For months, he was the single biggest obstacle, and now he wants credit for demanding the release. So what changed? Why is Trump suddenly pretending this was his plan all along? Because he saw something coming, something he couldn't stop. Republicans who once followed him without hesitation began going public. "I'm voting yes. We need transparency. This isn't about protecting the president anymore." One even warned fellow Republicans, in 2030, Trump won't be president. And if you vote to protect pedophiles today, he won't be there to protect you then. At that point, it was over. The votes were there. The train had left the station. Trump wasn't leading this movement. He was being run over by it. But here's where this gets even more interesting. Even if Trump looks like he's giving in, he may still have a way to protect himself. Just days ago, Trump instructed his administration to open investigations into Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, J.P. Morgan, and others. If certain Epstein documents involve people Trump wants targeted, those documents can be labeled bar, part of an ongoing investigation, bar, and once that label is applied, they can legally be withheld or redacted. Even more concerning, a former senior DOJ official appointed under Trump was secretly recorded admitting they'll redact every conservative name and leave in every Democrat. That wasn't speculation. That was someone inside the system telling you exactly what the plan was. So yes, the files may be released, but will they be whole or will they be weaponized? We're going to find out. And this is where the story widens beyond Epstein, because Trump is suddenly urging Republicans to get back to affordability, claiming his economic record is unmatched. But the facts tell their own story. Trump promised to lower the cost of living, but while in power, he launched a trade war that raised prices on nearly everything Americans buy, cut Medicaid for 17 million people, slashed food assistance by $186 billion, ended ACA subsidies, causing premiums for millions to skyrocket, oversaw rising inflation and surging energy costs, watched rents and home prices explode. And while Americans struggle with higher bills, Trump's priorities have shifted to a $350 million White House ballroom, gold-plated Oval Office renovations, $1 billion private jet, lavish parties, and private club expansions. The affordability agenda he now claims to champion has taken a backseat to himself. So why does this Epstein story matter? Because it exposes something deeper. Trump is losing control of the narrative. Republicans are no longer obediently following his lead, and the gap between his public claims and his private actions is widening so fast that even his own supporters are noticing. The lies about affordability aren't landing. The lies about the Epstein files aren't landing, and his attempt to rewrite history in real time is starting to collapse under its own weight. Whether the full truth comes out remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: Trump's grip is slipping, and the cracks are starting to show.